1. Bearhaven would be a much pleasanter place if it weren't for her family, Ursula thought, as she tossed and turned in her bed, unable to sleep. She kept thinking she heard the scratch of mice again. Had she missed one? Probably. Her brothers had kept them in the chest, containing her best clothes, knowing it was the most secure place to breed mice, far from the prying eyes of their nurse, especially as there would be no feast days until midwinter. Of course, the boys hadn't considered that Ursula was a woman now, old enough to be betrothed and married, and the presence of Lord Vauquelin's envoy in the castle meant she would have to present herself in her best gowns, night after night, until the feasting and negotiations for her wedding to whoever father decided she would marry were concluded. Never mind that she never met her prospective husband, or that she never wanted to leave the shelter of Bearhaven. The Bear River came down from the mountains, pure and clear as the ice that fed it, carving their valley and the fertile fields into a slice of heaven, nestled up against the mountains. But she was a dutiful daughter, however grudgingly, and Ursula had sought a new gown to air for tomorrow night, only to discover the hems of every single one chewed to ribbons. Further investigation had revealed a chess set that she knew belonged to her brothers, but inside there were no chessmen to be seen, just a mouse and her litter of pink newborns in a nest of strips torn off her dresses. As a good lady should, she took the problem to the source. Her brother's chamber was off the passage below her tower, and she'd laid the chess set and a destroyed gown on Gidi's bed before demanding an explanation. Gidi had just stared at the items on his bed in horror, so it was Oud who had told her the story, claiming it as his idea. The boys had wanted to breed mice to bait a trap for the golden eagle who lived in the crags upon the mountain. If they could catch the eagle, they could train it to hunt for them, bringing in fresh meat all winter once the ice had closed the passes and isolated the valley until spring. She might have lost her temper at that point, perhaps a little, and her voice may have been a little louder than it should have been, telling them how foolish their idea truly was. Loud enough so that father had heard, and Baron Orson had not been pleased to find his 2 younger sons squeaking on the floor, transformed into terrified mice, while his only daughter stood over them with her arms folded, insisting they apologize before she changed them back into boys again. At father's insistence, she changed the boys back, expecting to see them punished properly. Instead, her father had then seized her arm and escorted her back to her own rooms at the top of the Maiden's Tower, before unleashing a torrent of words that echoed in her head, even now, hours after he'd uttered them.
"That is the last time I ever want to see you practice magic," he'd said. "Do you know who is in this castle at this very moment? An envoy from Lord Vauquelin himself, asking for your hand. A marriage alliance with one of his sons would ensure peace with our neighbors for a generation, so that when it is my time, your brother Geoffrey will not have to worry about attacks from anywhere, for Vauquelin is the power in these parts. He is asking for an enormous dowry, oaths of allegiance, all manner of things for allowing you the honor of marrying into Vauquelin's family. I have told him you will be a perfect wife, meek and obedient in all things. But if he has heard any of this, he may leave tonight and find another more suitable bride for his lord's son. Instead of peace, we will have war, for without an alliance, Vauquelin will conquer us before King Seward can come to our aid.